A very mysterious Linkin Park trend is taking place, and an investigative journalist is trying to get to the bottom of it. Simple Plan's bassist has left the band. Charlie Daniels is laid to rest. Poppy announces her surprise engagement, and so much more. Stick with us. That's a brand new cover from Diamante featuring Breaking Benjamin vocalist Ben Burnley. That's Iris, obviously, the Goo Goo Dolls classic. Just came out today. Check it out. Add it to your library. All right, we've got a lot to get to today, including a very strange Linkin Park phenomenon. It's hard to explain, difficult to understand. I'm going to try to break that down for you in just a bit. But let's talk first about some news involving Simple Plan. Their bassist has announced he is stepping down from the band after allegations have been levied against him. So these allegations involve Simple Plan bassist David DeRosiers. I hope I'm pronouncing that properly. He's been in the band for the majority of their career, especially through their prominence in the early 2000s. And basically, an underage fan who is French said that David began speaking to her when she was underage, and he began talking about, obviously, sexual activity. And this led Simple Plan to release the following statement, followed by a statement from David. The band wrote, "Following recent public statements, David is withdrawing from the band in order to work on his personal issues. We offer deepest apologies to the women who were hurt by his actions. We are also sorry for all of our fans who were disappointed by this regretful situation. We will, as a band, take time to pause, reflect, and put in place guidelines to prevent similar situations from happening." David also added, "Recent public statements led me to acknowledge that some of the interactions I have had with women have caused them harm. I have decided to withdraw from the band and seek professional help to educate myself and act appropriately in the future. I am truly sorry for the harm I have caused to these women." All right, and next up, earlier today, late music legend Charlie Daniels was laid to rest at a Tennessee service. Obviously, his massive hit, The Devil Went Down to Georgia, is something that continues to be played in regularity for country music fans everywhere. But he was also very much a Southern rock pioneer. Here is a little bit of Travis Tritt performing tribute today at the funeral to Charlie Daniels.
10,000 years, bright shining as the sun. We've no less days.
Obviously, Charlie Daniels will be dearly missed. He's a music legend, and it seems like a very nice celebration of life for the late, great Charlie Daniels, who will be dearly missed and forever memorialized through his music catalog, which will live on forever. And here's some positive news involving drummer Mike Portnoy and guitarist John Petrucci from Dream Theater. They were formerly bandmates, and now they are reuniting on a new solo effort for John, and this is what he had to say about working again with his former bandmate. He spoke on the official Dream Theater fan club, and he said, "Mike is playing drums, which is really awesome. Obviously, Dave LaRue played drums on my first solo album, Suspended Animation, who I also toured with many times with G3. As in the past, Mike Portnoy. We toured together with G3 as well. But yeah, having Mike play drums on this is cool. It was a great experience." He then went on to talk about how they were able to link up again and work on this project. He said, "We'd been talking and he had planted the seed in my ear. I was telling him about my plans and he said, 'Well, if you need somebody, I'm available.' I'm like, 'I'm going to take you up on that.' I had written all the songs and we programmed drums. I played bass and our engineer, Jimmy T, played bass. So we had these final completed songs. Mike came in, learned everything, and added his touches and tastes and did a tremendous, spectacular job. It was a lot of fun to reunite musically and to do that together. It took about 6 days to do. The drums sound awesome. Dave recorded his stuff remotely, redid all the bass, and mixed by Judas Priest, Andy Sneap. It was my first time working with Andy, and he did a tremendous job mixing it. And so his new solo album, Terminal Velocity, is expected to come out later this year. And some more positive news, Poppy has announced her engagement. She's been engaged to Ghostmane, who is an awesome artist in his own right, and they are celebrating online. She shared a picture of her engagement ring, not your traditional engagement ring, but a very cool looking ring. It looks like almost like a sword of some sorts, definitely badass, and she tagged him on her Instagram story. People are very, very stoked about this. She shared an engagement ring on her Twitter account. It got 25,000 likes. People are very stoked for them, and all the congratulations in the world to this happy couple and well wishes to them. And next up, the Osbournes are coming back to TV, but not like you remembered it when it was on MTV, which was one of my favorite junk food reality shows of all time. It very much was when metal and rock was at the forefront. And there have been rumors that MTV has thought about bringing that show back. We know they're bringing Beavis and Butthead back, and they're focusing on that nostalgia wave. And the Osbournes was a massive hit for them. So they have said they've been approached about it, and I'm guessing maybe some negotiations are ongoing. But for now, there is a new show involving Jack, Ozzy, and Sharon, where they talk about conspiracy theories, paranormal stuff, and UFOs. It's coming out on August 2nd on the Travel Channel. It's called The Osbournes Want to Believe, and it will mark the family members' united return to TV following their hit reality series in the early 2000s. Kelly Osbourne will not be on the show, and it says that it'll be a continuation for Jack, who hosts a supernatural series called Portals to Hell. He wrote, "I was a big X-Files fan, the biggest nerd ever. I read all the books, watched all the episodes, and for me as a kid, it was like a nerdy hobby, the paranormal and UFOs and ghosts." And look, I've got to say, Jack Osbourne has always been a really cool dude, and his shows with his dad, where they travel around, I forget what it's called. So I'm excited to see more of Ozzy, especially because he's not able to perform right now. So congrats, August 2nd on the Travel Channel. Check it out. All right, and on to this Linkin Park story. There is a strange phenomenon which is taking place in China, in Shanghai specifically, where almost every day, multiple times a day, you're going to be seeing people wearing Linkin Park t-shirts around. And as this long article in Wired points out, these are not necessarily Linkin Park fans, but rather the Linkin Park logo has become so popular, like the Nike logo or Adidas, and it's become like a fashion brand over in Shanghai right now. Here's the writer talking more about this. He says, "The band hasn't been cool for years, but its Minute to Midnight logo is everywhere when in the most populous country in the world." Now, it's not possible to be a writer in tech or a writer in really any mainstream media to talk about any rock band without partially shitting on them. Never mind the fact that Linkin Park's never done anything to anyone, but there's a few jabs in here that I just really roll my eyes at when you say they haven't been cool. Well, who defines cool? Because last I checked, just a couple days ago, Linkin Park had a video surpass 1 billion views, and all of their music videos, including from their album from just a couple years ago, gets millions and millions of views. And Chester Bennington is one of the most beloved figures in rock music history. So I'm not sure what that comment really means, because success is very much equated to popularity. Anyways, I digress. It says, "I've been in Shanghai for about a month," a writer on the Shanghai subreddit wrote, "and all I've seen is like 10 guys wearing the same Linkin Park shirt, Minutes to Midnight. Can you help me solve this mystery?" People said, "Oh man, I totally noticed them too. I'd see maybe one a day. Funny enough, I've seen some fakes where they don't even spell Lincoln correctly." And it says the bootleg ones say KNKIN Park are the best. And then a year later, somebody else made a different post and said, "Why are so many people wearing Linkin Park shirts? Last weekend, I saw dozens of Minutes to Midnight shirts with huge Linkin Park letters underneath it in the city." So the writer says they had the same thoughts themselves. They moved to Beijing in 2014 for an internship and lived there for 6 years in their 20s, working as a magazine editor. And he saw his first Linkin Park t-shirt in summer of 2015, walking on the job around crowded people. And he saw the same shirt in quick succession. And he says, again, Linkin Park hadn't been cool for years. He said, over time, my delight in spotting the t-shirt morphed into cold-blooded journalistic obsession. They weren't just a reminder of home, but a confusing one, and one that was seemingly accidental. So there's this wholesale clothing market in International Trade City, and on a floor-to-ceiling billboard, 4 photos of one man in aviator sunglasses, each time wearing the same shirt in a different shade. The shirts all read, Linkin Park Minutes to Midnight. So it's a bootleg shirt. The writer then went into the store and asked about the shirts. He said she was disappointed when I said I was a journalist. When I asked her if she knew what the band was that she was printing, she said she did not, but I can get them in any color you want, high quality. I asked the owners of a shop named Everlasting Feeling, who stocked a correctly spelled version of the Minutes to Midnight shirt, if they'd ever had any other Linkin Park shirts. No. Or just shirts with other band names on them. Also no. Everlasting Feelings manager was not aware that the logo even referred to a band in the first place. So then the writer went straight to Linkin Park and talked to Mike Shinoda about this, and Mike Shinoda wasn't aware of this phenomenon, but he did note, obviously, they have a very big, passionate fan base over in Asia. He said, we've had a strong fan base in China for many years. It's one of the stronger Linkin Park fan bases in the world. I can't think of another market where we've found Linkin Park or Linkin Park tees, but it makes sense as to why they exist there. While I obviously don't condone the knockoff shirts, I do appreciate how much they love the band. The writer then reached out to the person who designed the t-shirt, and he said, the fact that the logo goes beyond its context and is loved by many people means that the logo is great. And then he said, why China? It's very interesting. Chinese love the futuristic mood and technology. He added, futuristic mood and technology sound like vague reasons for a mass consumer trend, but they're the closest I've heard to an explanation. I haven't gotten a more concrete answer for the shirt's popularity, other than they look modern and cool and that people like to copy things. Ultimately, after years of seeking answers, the writer says, I take solace in Linkin Park's most famous lyric. I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. So if there's anyone who is in Beijing that's watching right now and you can provide a better explanation for this, I would love to hear it. Very fascinating. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments, and be sure to subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss out on breaking news and updates. Thanks so much for joining us today at Rockfeed, and we'll see you all very soon.